Amen. We thank God. We'll want to invite those who are functioning for this scene, that is this particular session, to please walk upstairs. Professor Olabi, please join us here. Mrs. Dorothy Bafo, please come and sit here so that we can save time in the walking. Prof. Asafo, please join me here. Then Professor Akute too will be here with us. At this session, the song ministration that will be rendering for us is Melodians. They are ready over here. Professor Asafo, please, this is your time to give us the historical background of this place.
Good morning, fellow believers. It is a joyous time, and I've been asked to tell a story that involves all of us. A story about this magnificent building we are all sitting in. So it is a story about Valley View University in the end. So we know that Valley View University is an institution, a higher learning institution established in Adventist. It is being run, or it was founded and being run by the Seventh-day Adventists according to their educational philosophy. And we know that the university emerged out of the educational philosophy based on their religious underpinnings. The university came out through the necessity that arose in the 1970s and the early 1980s to provide high quality theological education for the church's gospel workers. That include ministers and financial administrators. The need arose because of the grave economic situation in the country then. As now accepted, the college by the name Adventist Missionary College was moved from Ashanti Bakwa, where it got its first humble beginnings, and was moved to Adentan in 1983. Many people don't know this story. And as it was relocated to Adentan, where we now call SDA Junction, it was relocated again in 1989 with the new name Valley View College. As a faith-based institution with the aim of providing higher education for its ministers and other church workers, the provision of a place of worship that is befitting to their God and to their church became very, very obvious. You see, the university wants to instill both intellectual, spiritual, mental, and social development elements in their students as well as their staff. In fact, anybody that has any link with the university. As a result, the effort was put in so that we would provide a decent place of worship. Therefore, In 2008, the first significant effort was put in place by the administrators of the college, headed by Professor Pastor Seth A. Lai and his assistants. And these were Professor Pastor Primpong Owuswentwi, Professor Pastor Jejom R. Asafo, Professor Pastor Daniel Opoku Boateng, and Mr. Francis K. Mensah, as well as Mr. Emmanuel Kwandaho, who was the Director of Works and Physical Development. There is one thing we need to know about the story of this building, and that is the location of the building. Why is this building put where it is now? It was the desire of the administration to position the chapel at such a place that anyone entering the campus shall see this place of worship first. So if you would observe, you stand at the gate. In fact, if this building is completed, the first thing you would see would be this building. For what reason? To drive home and emphasize the faith element as the basis of all that the university stands for. Hence, the present site of the chapel. Now, fundraising for the chapel. Several schemes were instituted to raise funds to build a permanent and befitting place of worship for the university community. The initial funds were solicited from Seventh-day Adventist fraternity in Ghana as well as abroad since 2005. The chapel was designed in 2005 and 2006 in collaboration with our development partners, who were the Beggar and Company from Germany. They were not Seventh-day Adventists. However, they got interested and assisted in the design for the chapel. Earlier in 2006, the sword cutting for the start of this particular building was done by the university administration and by the president of Ghana Union then, who was Pastor Peter Osei Mensah. Yes, he's sitting there when he was the president. The construction continued on the strength of a donation of $1,000 from the General Conference, Sabbath School Department. So that year, I think West Africa was benefiting, and Valley View was remembered, and we got $100,000 for this building, which had been used. The entire chapel was designed to seat between 3,005 to 5,000 people, worshippers. Now, the entire chapel was planned to be completed in 12 stages, and it was estimated at that time to cost $1,340,898 US from the substructure, that is the foundation, until we get to landscaping So on 30th October 2009, when the work was going on, only stage 1 was completed. And this was completed, let me say it in Ghana cedis, was completed with the amount of 121,037 Ghana cedis. And we have about 1,206 million. 1,204,000 Ghana cedis to be used to complete. The university was, at that time, putting up 21 projects. So by March 2010, the work was being done in-house, or what they call direct labor. And by then, we had used 750,000 Ghana cedis. And that money got exhausted by December 2010. Other people gave money for the building, and these included the North American Ghanaian Seventh-day Adventists, who also donated for student hostel, especially the one over there for the ladies called NAXDA. The university administration, after Seth Lyers' administration, under Professor Daniel Bohr as the Vice Chancellor, also followed up. And from 2011 to 2015, made strenuous efforts to marshal funds to continue the building. Then came 2016. From 2016 to 2020, we had Professor Pastor Daniel K. Bediako, who secured so much funds for the continuation of the chapel. They got funds from the West Central Africa Division, we call WADA, and in the neighborhood of over $100,000, both for building and also for up work, roofing. And it was this time that the university moved from direct labor to giving it to contractors. And then our friends Evan Mike Multipurpose Company Limited came on board to put up the building for us. And they came in 2016. For a while, from December 5 to December 5, 2020 to March 2021, the university came to worship here for went back to the Purpose Center to worship. We didn't stay. So in 2020, still under Professor Bediako's administration, there was a committee appointed to mobilize funds for the continuation of the project. This Chapel Resource Mobilization Committee was inaugurated on August 16, 2020, right here, so that we would get money to continue the building. The committee included 9 people, including Elder Jonas Quay, who was the chairman, Elder I.O. Amponsem, the secretary, Mrs. Stella Ajenim Boating, Professor J. John R. Asafo, Mr. I.B. Boating, Mr. Kobina Holman, Elder Emmanuel Wandaho, Elder Daniel Eno Saki, and BCOP Habiba Chumasi Sapo. The committee and its sub-committees met several times in 2020 and formulated strategies for fundraising and was at the point of rolling out its strategies, but got halted in its tracks, unfortunately, due to some undue delays from the university church in finalizing the plans for take-off. Now, that happened up to 2022. Then, a fresh impetus was brought to bear from January 2023 in the effort to continue the chapel project. The new Vice Chancellor, Professor William K. Kumsen, supported by the new administration, introduced a new vigor and took the decision to move in to the uncompleted building for good. This time, no turning back. By faith, on this very day, we are sitting here. The theme and slogan, "Move in by faith, I will go," is also built on Nehemiah 2, verse 18. Let us rise up and build. The new university administration has introduced this move in by faith by organizing and mobilizing funds needed to prepare at least the interior of the chapel, to put it in a condition good enough for us to start worshiping in, so that we would see the need that is there to continue. So by the end of March 2023, an amount of 189,661 Ghana cedis was realized and spent so far, making it possible for us to worship here. It would be nice to tell the story of those who helped, and that is going to be done by another person. But generally, it was the contribution of all the Adventist community around the world, and particularly faculty and staff from all the campuses that have contributed to bring the chapel to this stage as we see it, including monies brought in by Accra City Conference, our closest neighbor conference. So far, according to the records in the finance department, we have spent $4,407,311.09 Ghana cedis. The expectations are that we shall all rally around to give our part to complete this planned magnificent place of worship. In all this, the Lord, whose house of worship and prayer is being built, has been with his faithful children. It is the belief that he will see his children through to complete this building in a more glamorous fashion than it is today, to his glory and honor. Finally, we will proclaim, as David in Psalm 122, verse 1, that I was glad when they said to me, let us go into the house of the Lord. And that calls for responsibility on all of us. May the Lord be with you as we ponder on these things. Amen and amen.
Sister, thank you very much. As we water down the story being told, we'll invite the melodians to give us a song so that we can soothe in the story that has been told as we move on. So, as Prof was giving the historical story, we heard some names, and the pioneering names, some are here. I can see Professor Primpon also entry. Please, Prof, please, we want you upstairs here. Then I can see Pastor and Mrs. Peter Osei Mensah too here. Please, we want all of you here. And yeah, we'll go to divine service with him. Then when I saw Elder Kwandor walking in, Elder Kwandor, please, wherever you are, please walk here, please, because you were here when this was. I think you can say big amen to Elder Kwandor. He's one of the long-serving directors for physical plants. Then we have Professor Opoku Boateng and the wife. Please, we want you to be here. Pastor John Apia, you and your wife, you two have to be here. So I'm calling all the pastors. Pastor Abe, please, we want all of you up here so that we are creating space for the protocol also to follow. Pastor John Apia, Professor John Apia, please, you and your wife, we want you to walk up stage. To ushers, please, usher them to come and sit down over here for us. Then all invited guests that you receive invitation. The Mother Conference, Meridian Ghana Conference, please. The rep who is here to represent, please come and have your seat upstage. Then the pastors that we are here, we want you to move up here for us. Auntie Harriet, Sister Harriet will mention the others after the song. After the song, those who are here, the invited guests to take their seats. Thank you. Melodians, we are ready for you.
Yeah.